everyone, welcome back to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios and 31 Days of Halloween, doing October Daily MemoryDex style. Now before I get into today's card, I want to answer a question that I had from one of my viewers, and that is, do I have a die that will cut this file folder? The answer is yes and no. The MemoryDex cards are cut 4 inches by 4.5. That gives you the top for the tab. So what you need to do is you need to double that. So that would be 9 inches, and I cut it about 9.5. You want a piece of cardstock about 4.25 by 9.5. That gives you some cut edge room, okay? And then you're going to use your die, and if you were to just lay it just flat the way it's meant to be, you would cut out 2 pieces. But to get a fold, back your die off of your fold. See that there's just a little bit of a gap there. Let me see if I can hold this and point this out. Here is the blade for the die, and it's not touching the cardstock. I have bumped the cardstock up just away from it enough that when I cut the die, or when I cut the cardstock, it's not going to cut that fold line. So it leaves me a fold line intact. Now, you can buy dies that will do the fold already, you know, they're set to do that, but here's the thing. Why buy a second die if this one will do the trick? Okay? This comes as a set. They're from Heidi Swapp, and I bought mine from Spectrum Art Creations. And if they're still available in their shop or in their Etsy shop, I will link them down below for you. But these are really the only 2 dies, unless you want a fancy cut top of some type. And I've got videos where I've showed you how to do that, even using just a 4x4 card. That these are really the only 2 dies that you need to start. Okay? As you want to get more creative, get more of the creative dies. But for this is all you need. Now, I am planning to get stuff in the shop. I took pictures yesterday. I was ready to upload stuff, but here's something a lot of people don't understand about Etsy. It's more than just posting the picture and a price. You have to post the picture. You have to know how it's going to be packaged, so you need the weight, the dimensions, so you can get the shipping rate, all the details and stuff. And I went to package stuff up last night so that I could get a price for shipping, and realized I don't have any envelopes that will fit the MemoryDex dies. But I am putting a set of 31 of these in the shop. You'll be able to choose whether you want all black, all white, or if you want a mix. And like I said, I've got the pictures and everything set up. I just don't have the envelopes. I live 2 hours round trip, or 2 hours round trip from anywhere. So I woke up this morning with a horrible sinus headache, and I've worked really hard to keep it from going into a migraine today. So leaving the house today for shipping was not an option. One day this week I hope to do that so I can get the stuff in the shop by this weekend. It will take me an entire day to list everything. I just have to have the envelope so I can package. So please be patient. I am getting there. Now, on to today's MemoryDex card. This was the card that inspired me. It's from Ofelia Contreras on Pinterest. And I just love that little witch image. I don't know where she got that, but it is absolutely adorable. I did not have that witch. What I did have was this cute little frog. Now this frog is Craft Smart. It was one of those dollar stamps years ago that you got out of the Tower Baskets at Michael's. You know, the stamps that y'all never use. You want to bet? I've had this stamp for at least 17, this set from at least 17 years. We've lived here almost 16 years, and I was working at Michael's within 5 years prior to that. And that's when I started collecting all my stamps from the Tower Baskets. So, yeah, I'm using my frog stamp. So, here's what I've done. I have covered my white base, because I'm doing mine alternate black, white, black, white, black, white. So I've covered my white base with a piece of Stampin' Up paper called, it's retired from Holiday 2021, called Magic in This Night. And if you'll notice in the image, it almost looks like there's a wallpaper background in the back, and I really like that. So that's why I went with this. Then I came back to my frog paper because, you know, I have a frog. And I cut it to 2, I want to say 2 1/4. And I left it squared off. And I'm just distressing the edges with black soot from Tim Holtz. And I have glue here today. I went and I got a second glue. Actually, before I glue that down, let's put our froggy in place. I stamped him in Memento Tuxedo Black. I cut him just about 2 1/8 inch square, and then I trimmed him off using the grass blade paper edgers. You know, those cheap little paper scissors that, again, I've had since my days at Michael's. And I have them out where I'll still remember to use them periodically, and I thought that created a nice little edge for that. Now, I'm not putting that on there square. I gave it a little bit of a cock to it. Just tipped it just a hair. And now I'm going to go ahead, and I have this ribbon, and I'll bring it out later when I've got a full spool. But this is part of a ribbon. Now, isn't that interesting? Look at that. And I just cut a little piece of it, and I'm going to stick it down here in the back, but I'm going to use glue dots for that because I'm pretty sure my Tombow is not going to hold that. So I'm going to get out my glue dots, and I'm going to place them on the crossbars, just on a couple of them, just so I know that they'll stick. Because once I stick this down, this is going to stay in place anyway, but I need to make sure that it's down where I want it and doesn't move on me. So I will stick a couple, 3 pieces of that down there. Take my paper off and try not to lose my glue in the process, because nothing's going to stick to this really super well. But those glue dots will do just fine as a temporary, and I'm just going to set it down there. Now, keep in mind, when you're doing anything on your MemoryDex card, you need to try and stay within your edges as much as possible, or you're going to have a MemoryDex box that is wide enough to accommodate anything you push off onto the side. Okay, now I'm going to do a 2-step glue on this one because I want it to hold. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run my glue runner on the outside of this. And then I'm going to put this glue in the center, so it'll really hold that net down good. And what this does is it allows the immediate sticky double back tape allows that to hold down while the glue is drying. And I'm going to sit that right there on top of that, and I'm going to hold that for just a minute so that will dry. Okay, and it will stick on there. I actually wanted to bring it down a little bit more. Let's see if I can do that without creating too much havoc. Let's do that, because I want a little bit more of my lace to show, my ribbon to show here. Okay, now I've also cut out a couple of things. Number one, I did the eek from a set from Stampin' Up called Spooky Fun, and there are some really cool images on there we are going to be using in future projects. But for now, I stamped out eek 3 times using that new Stamparatus that I had, and I'm going to pop that one up on black dimensionals. I've got to get more ordered of these black dimensionals because I just know I'm going to run the heck out of these during this project. So I'm going to pop me some dimensionals on there. Just like that. I see a Stampin' Up order in my future. But there's a couple of things from the holiday catalog I want to get. I've just been holding off on spending money since I've got the Writers' Conference coming up. That's pretty much going to sink me. I stamped it on white, tore off the edges, and I kind of dusted the background with smoky slate. Take some of the edge off that white. And I'm going to stick it right down there, just like that. Now, she had 3 buttons up here. Instead of using the buttons, I'm going to use these embellishments from Stampin' Up. These are called Monster Bash, and I don't remember when they actually came out, but I'm going to use 3 of the larger ones right up here. Actually, I'm going to put a gray one up here too, because the gray ones look a little larger. So I'm going to put a, let me move up here. I'm going to put a large gray one up there. I got the black one. And now let's put a tiny gray one down here at the bottom. So that gives me my 3, just like that. And I'm going to put, let's put gray ones down here between our words, She had flowers on hers. I just couldn't see the flower thing on here. It didn't ring with me. And then I punched out a couple of small glitter bats, and I'm not going to glue them all the way down. I'm only going to put the glue down the back of their body. So they will have free-form wings here so that they'll have a little bit of movement to them. Yeah. And it's a good thing this glue dries clear, because the way my fingers are, I'm going to need it. And I'm going to put the other one down there, going the other direction, if I can get a hold of him. And then the only thing we have left to do is put our number on here for day 3. I got to tell you, some people say, are you nuts? Well, I kind of thought maybe I might have been at one time. But that was before I knew that I was, I didn't want to put that one up there, because I've got to put my number up there. Got to put my number up there. Let's get him to go. But that was before I had to be gone, so. But I'm playing every day with my paper stuff, and I'm having an absolute blast. Being inspired. Here's the thing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are so many creative people out there. Watch what they do, take their idea, and make it your own. Now I've got to put this, make sure my 3's going the right way, and put my glue on the bottom half. So I can put him right down here, just like that. Now I brought in markers. I have this yellow-green that I wanted to do the spots on this frog. Just like this. And then I have a yellow that I'm going to do his eyes in. Just like this. And that gives a pop of color to this card that we didn't really have otherwise, except for that minimal amount of green. And there is our day 3 for the 31 days of Halloween October Daily MemoryDex style. Come back tomorrow morning, because we're going to be drawing our first stick for our October color challenge. And I can't wait to see what we're going to be making on Thursday. And then tomorrow afternoon, we'll have day 4. I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. In the meantime, remember to share, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of this crazy ride. Creative blessings.